It's Battle Rap Unfiltered, the hottest podcast that's around. Analytics different whenever we breaking it down. Who you had losing and who you think was taking around. A show for the culture, no other podcast making the sound. With expert opinions, we giving you the news you've been missing. Nobody does it like this, cause the talk is...
Welcome to another episode of Battle Rap Unfiltered. We have the full cast today. We have Kel, Mitz, and LP. And I'm your host, Kels. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing today? We have a fun topic today to discuss, kind of controversial though. Today we're going to be discussing what is off limits in battle rap.
First, I would like to do my shout out to the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland for arresting the cops that were involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter. Thank you, U.S. Attorney General. You did what Daniel Cameron wouldn't do, the Attorney General for Kentucky. Shout out to that. But
shout out to Justice.
Back to this topic. I really think it comes down to the matchup. Because I think if you're battling somebody who you know is aggressive, disrespectful, all the above, you have to prepare for that. And you got to know that's coming. So you battle somebody like Arsenal, you know he may say something very disrespectful about your mom, your daughter, your grandma, but you're going to accept it. My best example of that is Chess versus Arsenal, and then Chess versus Danny Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Chess knew it was coming against Arsenal. So he expected him to be physical, expected him to be aggressive, expected him to be disrespectful. Chess stood there, took everything, didn't react. However, when he battled Danny Myers being aggressive, touching him, etc., and Chess took, kind of offense to that. And he was like, "What you doing, bro?" But he explained it after. He was like, Danny Myers not that type of rapper. He's not the type, he's not aggressive. He's not, disrespectful. He's not touching. So for him to do it to me, I wasn't expecting him to do that. And it made me mad. But when I battled somebody like Arsenal, I expected that. And I didn't think nothing of it. So I really think about who you're battling when it comes down to this. But I do have some things that like completely, is off the table, deceased family members, touching somebody arcade-os somebody.
Let me stop you there.
K-Shine got his hat took and then he smacked Sharon. So I expect
that one.
So here, people new to the culture, here's a few things you should probably never ever do. Don't bring a fake gun, okay? And do not try to RKO somebody. Honestly, this is not wrestling for real. Like, please don't do that. Stop that. Stop trying to go viral for the wrong reasons. That's not it. That's not what
Who did that? Does anybody?
I don't know the name of those. It was
like a smaller league. Yeah, it was like one of those small leagues. Yeah.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere. And he literally RKO'd his man. And the dude got up afterward like it was okay. I'm like, that's not.
Can I ask y'all?
Yeah, the battle continues.
If y'all were battlers and someone tried to RKO you, what would you do?
The battle is over. And the new battle started.
We're going outside. The battle's over.
Going outside. We're already on the floor. It's right there. It's right there. It's octagon time. No. Kel, sorry. What do you think about this whole boundaries in battle rap?
First of all, it's battle rap. So you kind of think of it as having no boundaries, but there are some unwritten rules, just some common sense things, such as, when you're getting too personal, bringing kids' names into battles. I think that's a line that we should not be crossing. And another one that really grinds my gears is, if you're not from a certain set, then you should not be bringing out gang paraphernalia into battle raps. I think that's something that should not be crossed.
Ron just made the list twice. Man, it's all the wrong reasons. Sharon, the starter kit of what not to do. All right, LP, what do you think?
Everyone said it. I'm gonna say it again just to make it very clear. Dead family members or dead homies, whatever. Like, to me, that's tasteless. Like, I'm like, really? You're supposed to be the most creative rappers in the world, and that's what you came with? Word to Easy. Kids and family. So here's the thing. When I start thinking of certain topics, because gestures for me, such as the overly touching and all that stuff, I like performance. We're in a sport where performance matters. Like, Mitz, I get what you're saying with the whole, it does depend on the battle and whatnot, but at the same time, it's like, really, bro, if anybody finna really do something to you on stage physically that's too much for you to handle, except for
I just gotta be there.
RKO.
There's been like 3 or 4 instances with people getting slapped and punched out of nowhere. So
Yeah, and
you know,
see, that's a you know what you signed up for. Why are we getting this angry? But I'm not a battler. We're not going into that. But I think of more of topics when you say what's off limits, and there's just certain topics like speaking on the dead. That's just not acceptable. Then I start thinking of the family, the kids, and being specific on people's names. It's getting to a point where what isn't acceptable in battle rap? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then you start getting into, okay, is it that it's not acceptable, or is it that we tired of hearing it? As a listener, I don't care what you finna do to such and such's daughter's auntie's mama. I want to hear what you finna do to that man standing in front of you. Like, be more direct. But that's just my style, because everyone has their own style. Some people like that. Me, I don't care about that, because I know you probably don't even know his auntie. You probably wouldn't do that to his auntie.
what if they did?
Yeah, that is kind of, and I get that. That's kind of why I respect somebody who doesn't do as many personals, where they're just direct and they're talking. Because I think, like LP said, I think you have to be more creative. As a professional, you should be more creative than just write some that. Oh, you could come up with better material than that, bro. You know?
Yeah,
I think that's low hanging fruit. And that's here. Go ahead, LP. Finish up. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm interested in your opinion on this one.
So, to echo your sentiments, all of you, I think deceased dead relatives that should be a no-brainer. Don't talk about the dead, right? When it comes to bringing in anyone's real name outside of the battler, I feel like that should be off limits. If you're bringing someone's real life into a battle where now they can be viewed on the internet, I don't think that's okay, especially kids, especially someone's spouse. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So we have an instance, and I'll give you an example, where Rum Nitty and Twerk had a battle, and Twerk mentioned, Rum Nitty's son's name. And right there, Rum was like, no, we not doing this. I don't care what you're about to say. It don't matter. Right? And I agree with them, because don't bring my child's name into this, because now it's real for them. They're a child. They don't need to be hearing their name being brought up in battles where grown men are discussing heinous acts and violence and all this other stuff. They're kids. You know what I'm saying? Leave that out. Those kids didn't sign a contract to battle you. Why are you talking about the kids? Then you have reverse angles where you have battle rappers talking about their own family. Like when Danny Myers first mentions his wife, Vicky, right? He opened Pandora's box for an angle such as Mike P to come in and extort it.
Greatest angle ever, by the way.
And then we saw that angle again used on Mike P with Ryder.
Yeah.
Right? Same situation.
Tragedy.
So that's kind of common, right? So
okay, so I agree with you on that. Like, I think the thing about that is Danny's the one that put that out there.
Right.
So if you're gonna put that out there, then okay, go ahead. Because
that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah.
He put it out there. He introduced Vicky to battle rap. Now, if it was the other way around and someone brought up his wife's name and her addiction, I think that's not cool, right? But since he brought her in it and he mentioned it first, then you're giving people an angle to use on you. And that's how I feel about that. Now, when it comes to the physicality of battle rap, I think whatever level the two battle rappers are in agreement on, I can't say no to that, right? So when you have Arsenal and Lou Castro shoulder bumping each other like they're linemen, okay, right? Is it entertaining? Meh, not after the first one, right? But there's no fight because they both understand this is what we're doing. You're going to expect Shotgun Suge to pocket check you. You're going to expect a shoulder bump or whatever from whomever. But when I feel like
Ace Amin.
So here's the point I'm about to make with Ace Amin, right? So that Ace Amin Snake Eyes bump, to me, that shoulder bump was a lot more than just a regular shoulder bump. That was too much. You can say he was aggressive, cool. There was some menace in that shoulder bump. There's like, you know what? If you retaliate, it's gonna go left right here. So I'm gonna provoke you. And Snake Eyes didn't fall for the bait. So commend him for that. But to me, that was a baited tactic.
Yeah. I also think if you got that type of heated passion leading up to the battle, it should be in agreement that don't touch me. Kind of
Don't
like
touch me.
the battle watcher behind me, Stumbles versus Snake Eyes. You know, they had an actual physical fight. We all know that. And so leading up to the battle, it was like anybody touch anybody, you're not getting a second half.
Right.
That type of agreement would need to be established when it comes to, you know, that type of temperature leading up to that type of battle.
Right. Exactly. So anyone else have any thoughts on that? Because we have
Respectfully, just know your opponent.
Well, yeah. And speaking of that, knowing your opponent, you know, we have another example of, not to speak on Sharon again, where Sharon tried to bring out gang paraphernalia, right? A rag from a set he don't belong to in front of Arsenal. He wasn't having that. Now, Arsenal didn't like beat him up or anything like that. He took it from him, tell him he couldn't do that. So I think Arsenal handled it well. But then you have an incident where, you know, he brings out Sharon again, brings out a prop gun against K-Shine, and K-Shine slaps him. Like, that's just instinctual. I mean, you as a white battle rapper should not be bringing a gun anyways, but then pointed it at a black male when we have the climate we have in America. You cannot expect this to not go bad.
Honestly, and I piggyback on that. Even if he wasn't white, it's still wrong. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
it didn't help. It definitely didn't.
No, it definitely didn't help. But
really bad aesthetic.
A prop gun, black, white, Mexican, I don't care who that is. Don't point that at me. And then the whole flag thing, it's like, bro, you people gotta know what you dealing with. Like that gang stuff is not no joke, bro. Like, definitely off limits. I just wanted to get that out there. Definitely off limits.
I think what's off limits too. A perfect example is 40 bars versus Q. What's her name? QP. QB. Like when she was talking about her nephew or brother who committed suicide.
Yeah,
she was super disrespectful. That stuff right there, that's off limits. That should never be allowed. Even if like QB didn't do anything, it should be somebody else step in and be like, no, we're not doing this. This is way out of line. Because she's talking like somebody who just died recently who committed suicide, and that was disrespectful. I don't respect 40 bars for that one.
So is it more so, do you think people do it for shock factor? Because to me, it was
for shock factor.
Now
that I'm thinking of, I think so. Now that I'm thinking back to, you know, Suge is known for doing his pocket check, but I remember like in the battle where he battled Surf, he did a heart check on Surf. But if you would have seen the reaction on Surf's face, you know what I mean? Like he got caught off guard, you know what I mean? As opposed to getting a pocket check, he really, you know, Suge is heavy-handed. He really like pumped his chest, like, and that to me that was funny. You know what I mean? So it could have gone.
He knocked the third round out of him.
He did. He knocked the third out of him with that.
Still
one.
ain't found it.
But that could have went either way. That's just, you know, a spinoff of it, just knowing your opponent. You know what I mean? Because the reaction could have been bad if it was, you know, anybody else. Because that was aggressive.
Yeah, right. Gotti did the same thing back to him, and you know, Suge took it in response. So I think he dishes it out and he can take it. So shout out to Suge for being able to do that.
Yeah, I think some is shock value. Yes, I think some is shock value. I think some is just the person, just that person. Arsenal doesn't do it for shock value. Arsenal do it because that's what type of battle rapper he is.
He's just disrespectful.
So I just think it depends on, you know, the person. Some do it for shock factor. Some do it because that's just who they is. Take a battle rapper like Calico when he was pushing Tay Rock all across the stage, and Rock was like, "This dude tripping," you know, like Cal tripping, and it actually made Rock go off in the second round. But I just think that's the type of person Calico is. He doesn't do it for shock value. He's an aggressive battle rapper. So I really think it depends on who the person is, to answer your question.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just wanted to check the temperature in the room. That's all. We have 2 submissions from a few fans. We've got Fred and we've got Mel. They want to give us their perspective on this. Let's hear them out.
These are the top 3 things to never do in a battle. I don't know why Daylight get a lot of passes from pooping on the stage to doing stuff like this. Actually looking for another clip, but don't ever pull a gun out in a battle. Because you liable to get shot, nigga. Don't ever do this. I don't know how old boy got away with this. Please don't ever do this. Just watch the clip. Don't ever do this.
I wish I knew that bitch personally, just so I could tell you all the things I dislike about her. Matter of fact, I wish that bitch was still alive today, just so I could be the one to smack the life out of her. Oh, you mad, nigga? You mad, nigga? I wish you would get out of pocket. Matter of fact, I even brought you her picture. And since we're rapping about it, I might as well spit on the top. I might as well spit on the topic.
Hey, yo. Hey, you know what?
What should be off limits in battle rap? I think it depends on who you are. Like, whatever you wouldn't say should be off limits. If you're somebody like Arsenal, no, nothing should be off limits because you done said it all. You feel me? Whatever you think is off limits should be off limits in your battle. Put it in your contract, and as long as you've never said nothing like that, whatever, it could be off limits. Because you know some people, feel me? But that should be contract. I do think some stuff should be off limits because some people can't take certain shit. You feel me? So, yeah.
All right, that was Mel and Fred. We appreciate you guys submitting. You guys bring up some really, really good points. Something that we forgot to mention. Daylight's antics. Whew. LP, take me through some of it, because I almost forgot about that.
The man tried to take a number 2 on stage.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
He wears a lot of costumes. He had the Spawn costume. He had the Headless Horseman costume.
Let's not forget the Slave Master one against Pat Stay.
The Slave Master one, and the putting his hands in his pants and then putting it on the dude's face. I'm being very filtered when I say this. Even though we're unfiltered, I have to respect our viewers.
Daylight rubbed his balls and put the juice on the man's face. That ain't right, bro. That ain't right, bro.
Yeah, well, he gonna say it. Yeah, that's what happened.
That ain't right, man. That ain't right.
No, that's disrespectful. See, what we're getting into is the lines of fighting and violence.
Yeah,
We'll say
disrespecting another man, like that's come on, man.
Shout out to Mel for that video for sure. He brought up another good one in that video. The dude just disrespecting somebody who passed away. And it's not the fact that dude has to retaliate. You got to worry about that person's people, the person who passed away, that person's people coming after you. And word is around that person in that battle who was disrespecting the lady who passed away, spitting on the picture, etc. Ended up, getting killed after the battle. And it wasn't even a battle. The battler who he was battling, one who killed him. It was her surrounding people probably who came after him. So allegedly.
We don't want to speak who did what not.
Allegedly, we don't know if this happened or not, or who did it.
But man's got touched at the end of the day.
But he got touched. You can't be out here disrespecting, kind of like what T-Top did. He said that the whole Chicago warned him. He was scared to come outside after that. You just got to watch what you say about certain people, especially if they passed away, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
But Fred did mention a really good point I want to bring up. Knowing your opponent, right? And if there's something that you have a limit to, put it in your contract. It could be that simple. Instead of playing the guessing game, whether or not they're going to hit this hot button for you, put in the contract. Goods put it in his contract for a long time. Don't talk about his daughter, right? So whatever the case is, if there's something that's super, super off limits to you and you battle, put it in the contract.
Hey, did he put in his contract not to be called the head against Easy? Because he was kind of upset about it. He was upset. He was like, "Don't call me that," And then Easy called him again. I can't say it. We're not trying to get canceled on YouTube, but we know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but we appreciate everyone for stopping by. Please leave a comment, a like, a share, subscribe, whatever you need to do. We appreciate you. And if you have any other things, any topics you want to discuss, drop a line to us and let us know. Other than that, have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
No competition. I think it's time you tune in and listen to the views and predictions. John Jones, we came here to kick it. We just a show on the rise. Definitely top 5. And before you leave, you better like, comment, subscribe. Battle Rap Unfiltered.